we get into the hair? Can we get into the hair? Cause this color is giving fall, like, and with my jacket with it, I just look like a chocolate swirl right now. Like, I look like a peanut butter Reese's cup. Like, girl, you see the hair?
Honey, I'm everything.
But anyways, welcome to the Barbie Life 2.0 podcast. I'm your host, Shakira, aka Barbie 2.0. And today I wanted to get very personal with you guys. I wanted to make a video just talking about the reality of being a dark-skinned girl. And mind you, I'm 21 years old, so I'm going to be speaking from the perspective of a 21-year-old dark-skinned girl who has went to PWIs pretty much her whole life. So you already know this video is about to be a hefty one.
Here we go.
Real hefty.
A few moments later.
So I actually experienced two different schools. I went to an all-black school at one point, and I went to a PWI as well. I went to PWIs for the most part, but I did go to an all-black school. And what I will say is I'm Senegalese and Guinean, okay? I was born in America, but my mom is Senegalese and my dad is Guinean. And when I was growing up in my family's household, I didn't even know colorism was a thing. I didn't even know what the word meant. I knew what racism was, but I didn't know what colorism was. I didn't even know it existed, okay? And this was before I went to school. And this was because I grew up with African parents. And back in Africa, like, they're all dark-skinned. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that colorism doesn't exist. It definitely does over there. But my parents never really went through colorism the way people would experience it in America. It's a lot more intense in America. So my parents didn't prepare me to experience colorism in school because they didn't even know that I would go through it either. When they went to school, they didn't really experience colorism because everybody in their class was dark skinned. You know what I'm saying? So I had no preparation for this. I didn't even know that I was going to be experiencing this. I was just an innocent dark skinned girl thinking that I was about to go to school and play hopscotch. And next thing you know, I'm getting thrown into lockers, getting called darky, blackie, and burnt banana by my own black peers. And I'm just like, whoa.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Like, damn. Like,
I'm really trying to count the 10. Let me breathe. Let me see if my therapist is on speed dial.
but yeah, so when I went to an all-black school, I experienced colorism crazy. Like, bad. Okay? Them black kids did not save a breath. They went in. Like, they did not care. They called me African booty scratcher. Every time that I would bring in food from home, they would act like the food that I brought in smelled so bad and it smelled like it came from the zoo. I got a lot of African jokes at my all-black school. A lot of African jokes. And a lot of dark skin jokes. It was just a lot of, you're really dark and you're a blackie and you're a burnt banana and you're an African booty scratcher. And it made me feel some type of way. It made me feel very insecure because they were coming for my identity. Like, I cannot change the fact that I'm an African girl and I cannot change the fact that I'm dark skinned. So when I'm getting bullied for those characteristics alone as a young kid, you feel very insecure and you feel alone. And it was so bad to the point where when I was younger, I used to get in the shower and I used to scrub my skin so hard, hoping that if I scrubbed hard enough, that the dark skin would fade and become lighter. And this is me at like 6, 7 years old, by the way. And I'm thinking like, okay, if I get in the shower and I scrub hard enough, my dark skin will fade and it'll turn lighter at some point. That's how much I hated my skin due to the bullying that I was going through in my all-black school. And when I thought it couldn't get any worse, my mother was like, oh, we're going to go move to a predominantly white town. I said, oh.
I'm just not ready for all of this. It's just...
Oh, I haven't really been around white people my whole entire life at all. You know what I'm saying? I started at an all-black school. So I don't really know what to expect. Okay, I'm just going to this PWI just like, you know, just fuck it. You know what I mean? Just fuck it. We're just winging it at this point. And, you know?
Yeah, fuck it.
Get to the PWI. And, oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my gosh.
Oh my gosh. No.
When I got to that PWI, I just, first of all, I didn't know that me going to PWI was going to completely change my whole school experience. I didn't know that I was going to get treated like how black people got treated in 1948. You know, when they was spitting on us and throwing shit at us. I didn't think it was going to be like that, okay? And listen, I cried pretty much every single day. I was alone. I had no one to turn to. I had no teachers, nothing. I just took it all in. When I got to that PWI, the first thing that somebody said to me was, "Oh my gosh, is that your real hair? Can I touch it?" And they asked me if they could touch it, but then they proceeded to touch it anyways. And I dealt with that for like 2 years straight, where people would just go up to me like I was a zoo animal and be like, "Oh my God, can I touch your braids? Can I touch your hair?" And I was so young that like, I just felt violated. And I felt like people were looking at me like I was some zoo animal or something like that. Like, I really felt like, I just felt weird. It just felt weird. It felt like I was some zoo animal that people were trying to see. It didn't feel like I was human, you know? And it was like, why y'all always want to touch my hair? And it was as if these people have never been around black people before. Because I know you're not just randomly going up to every single black person you meet and just touching their hair, digging in their roots. And they would be touching my hair. Like, I'm talking like putting their fingertips on my scalp. Like, they would be digging deep. Like, I don't know what they was trying to find, like some treasure chest or something. But they was like going deep in my hair. I'm like, what? And mind you, I'm the only black girl at my school, so I can't even go to another black girl and be like, yo, like, is this weird? Like, is this normal? Like, I can't confide in no one to relate to my experience or to make me feel like I'm not going crazy because I'm the only black girl there. And I think a lot of people don't talk about how hard it is being the only black girl there, because you're experiencing stuff and you don't know if what you're experiencing is normal when you're going through it at a young age. And you can't really confide in anybody to figure out if what you're going through is normal because you're the only black girl there. And then on top of it, if there's stuff that you don't stand for, it's like you're the only person who's sticking up for yourself. There's nobody else defending you. And when I was at my PWI, that's exactly how I felt. I felt alone as hell, okay? Every single time somebody would say something colorist or racist towards me, I was the only person who defended myself. And it was to a point where I stopped defending myself because I was being gaslighted so much. Because nobody else understood my experience or would defend me. So it would look like I was just overreacting or complaining just to complain. And mind you, I went through the worst of the worst. And I don't think people understand being a dark-skinned girl in a PWI in today's age is the equivalent of being a black kid in 1948 going to a school that has white kids and black kids in it. I swear to God, like, it's that bad. Like, I don't know if y'all ever seen that movie where the one black girl was going to school in the PWI and she was the only black girl and people were spitting on her and throwing stuff at her. Yeah, like, you would think that stuff is only in the movies. No, like, that stuff happens to dark-skinned people in PWIs, and people don't understand that. People don't get that. Like, And people don't know it unless you tell them. And I didn't realize this until I got to college, because when I got to college, I started telling people what I went through in high school. And so many people were like, there's no way. Like, that sounds like it's straight out of a movie. And I'm like, no, like, this stuff happens. Like, this happened to me. Like, this didn't happen in 1948. Like, people were spitting on me. People were calling me the N-word with the hard ER. People were calling me blackie. People were calling me burnt banana. People were kicking me out of parties because I was too dark. This guy that I was talking to in high school told me that he didn't want to take me to prom because I looked too African. Like, that stuff like that, I went through all of that. And when I tell people that I went through all of that, they can't believe it because they think that it's stuff that only happens in movies. And then they see how I look now and they're like, there's no way, like, you're so beautiful. And I'm like, I didn't always look like this. And there be girls that look like this in high school who get bullied just as bad as I did. So your looks don't matter. You could be a beautiful dark-skinned girl and still get bullied in a PWI. So don't think that, like, because you're getting bullied or because you experienced bullying that you're ugly or you deserved it. No. Every single dark-skinned girl is going to go through bullying in a PWI. It's just as simple as that. 90% of the time, you're going to get bullied. Even if you're that bitch. Even if you are fully grown into your peak and you're a beautiful dark-skinned girl and you know how to do your makeup well and you always come serving looks and you always come with the fit and everything, at the end of it, you're still going to get bullied. It don't matter, because people have to understand, when you're living in like that high school, middle school world, it's like you're living in a different reality compared to the real world. There's like a high school reality and the real world reality. You know what I mean? And in the high school reality, they will hype up all the white girls and all the light-skinned girls. No matter how ugly they are, no matter how bad of a person they are, they will get as many, praise as possible. When I went to a PWI, it was a lot of basic white girls who was getting overhyped and praised all the time. And people were calling them, the baddest bitch on the block. Whole time. Now in the real world, if we were to pull up a picture of half of those white girls, we would all just rate them like a 3 out of 10 and be like, these are basic ass like white girls. Like, they're not even special. But in my high school, they were so overhyped that you would have thought that they were Kim Kardashian. On God.
And
the way people were treating them. And same thing with the light-skinned girls. It would be some light-skinned girls, not all of them. Some light-skinned girls, they were beautiful and they deserved the hype they had. But there were some light-skinned girls who were way overhyped. And I was just looking at them like, this is a basic-ass light-skinned girl. Like, we could find 10 million carbon copies of the same girl. Like, she's nothing special. And y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not putting down all light-skinned girls. There are light-skinned girls who are beautiful. Trust me, like Lori Harvey and such. There are light-skinned girls who are beautiful. But there are light-skinned girls who are basic looking as fuck. And we know those type of light-skinned girls that I'm talking about. And when you are living in a high school reality, those basic light-skinned girls and those basic white girls are going to get praise and they're going to get the most hype. And people are going to just act like they're damn near Beyonce and Kim Kardashian walking around school. When really, they're just like anything. But in the high school reality, that's how people see them. And if you're a dark-skinned girl, they see you as dirt. They don't even see you as human. You're just dirt, okay? You're just straight dirt to them. You're dust. You're not even worth breathing next to, okay? That's how they view it. So when you are in high school, you will feel alone because, again, you're going to be dealing with black people who are coons and white people who are racist. So you're going to be dealing with racism and colorism, unfortunately, and you're going to feel overlooked. You just are. You're going to feel overlooked by your beauty a lot because people are going to overhype the light-skinned girls and the white girls. And they're going to overlook you and act like you're not even human and act like you're not even worth acknowledgement. Okay? And it sucks. Even I had a crush in high school and I liked him so bad. Y'all don't understand. Like, I was in love with this man. And I told him I was in love with him. And I never tell my crushes that I like them. I told this man, like, yo, I like you so much. Like, I will literally do anything to date you at this point. You want to know what he said? He said, I don't really see you like that. I just see you as a friend. And he proceeded to date other girls that I was friends with right in front of me. And these girls happened to be light-skinned and white. And I felt so bad about myself because I was like, what's wrong with me? What do these girls have that I don't have? You know what I mean? And once I entered the real world and we all finally left high school, that same guy who was rejecting me was on my dick and was literally trying to be in my DMs and go on a date with me after high school. And I would have never thought that he would have even given me attention or anything like that a day in his life. But again, when you leave high school and you enter the real world, perception changes. And how people perceive you and how people perceive the world is very different. So if you're in high school right now and you're kind of, in that phase where you feel overlooked because you're dark skinned and there's a lot of people in school who hype up the white girls and the light skinned girls, just know that doesn't last forever. Okay. When you enter the real world, those people who are overhyped are not going to be overhyped in the real world. Nobody's going to be checking for them in the real world. The same girl that is the popular girl in your high school that everybody is always crazy over and they overhype her to the max, whether it's a white girl or a light-skinned girl, I promise you, the minute you leave high school, that girl is going to be literally nothing. And her peak was going to be high school and that's it. And that hype that she had in high school is not going to be prevalent in the real world. In the real world, it's not like that. Trust me. Every single girl that I went to high school with that was overhyped and was super popular and everybody would always praise them. Now, like, nobody gives a damn about them. They could walk down the street right now and literally everybody would just walk past them and not even bat an eye or even acknowledge them. You know what I mean? And when I was in high school, that was my reality. People would not even acknowledge that I existed. But in the real world, every time I walk down the street, somebody goes up to me and tells me that I'm so gorgeous and my skin is beautiful. So people in high school, like I said, they'll be more closed off to you and they will, overlook you and make it seem like you're not important, and they'll hype up the white girls and the light-skinned girls who don't really deserve that hype. But it slows down when you get in the real world. Like, in the real world, yes, there are, as a dark-skinned girl, you're still going to be overlooked compared to light-skinned girls and white girls. That doesn't go away, but it's not as prevalent and it's not as bad. Not everybody is so infested into this colorist reality. Some people are not brainwashed that way. Some people just aren't. Some people can see the beauty beyond the skin tone. And you'll realize that there's a lot more people like that in the real world compared to your high school reality. Like, you're not going to walk into a bar looking this good and see like the most basic white girl ever get more attention than you. That's not gonna happen. But that would happen in like your high school reality. But in the real world, that wouldn't happen. Like, if you're a beautiful dark-skinned girl, like, you're gonna get attention. And you might have the most attention in the room out of any other race out there. Trust me, every single room I walk into, I get the most attention as a dark-skinned girl. Okay, but in my high school reality, it wasn't like that. This is where it brings me to like college, you know? When I got to college, let me just tell you something, okay? If you're a dark-skinned girl and you like athletes and you think you about to snag you a D1, let me tell you something right now, it ain't gonna happen.
That's never gonna happen, ever, 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 Tiffany, ever, ever, ever in a million years, ever. Ever, ever, ever. Ever, 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 ever.
It's not gonna happen, I'll tell you that much. One thing about them athletes from middle school up until they is grown-ass adults in the NFL, they is not checking for us, okay? 99% of them are not checking for dark-skinned girls. So if you are a dark-skinned girl, you like athletes, and you think you about to snag you a D1 athlete, and you just about to get into that type of girl, it's not going to be that. It is not going to be that, okay? You better off finding yourself an accounting major who's gonna get out of college making 6 figures. You shouldn't even want to strive to have an athlete in college. That's another thing. When you get to college, this is just a general fact, but when you get to college, those D1 athletes are gonna be overhyped. But I promise you, the hype doesn't live up to what it is. Them D1 athletes, they be broke as hell. They get free housing, but in terms of actual money, they don't have that shit. So you can't even really do nothing with them. Like, you can't go on no nice dates or nothing. A lot of the time, they're just gonna hit you with the come over. They're very cocky. So they think that you're just going to run to their house at their beck and call just because they're an athlete. So if you haven't went to college yet, or if you're in college now, dark skin or not, them D1 athletes are overhyped. But if you are a dark skinned girl, don't even try to look in that direction, because they're not going to be checking for you. And if they are checking for you, I promise you, they're only checking for you because you benefit from featureism. Okay, because I've had a few athletes who came in my direction trying to talk to me, and I later found out that they only fucked with me because I was the dark-skinned girl that benefited from featureism. And for those who don't know, featureism is discrimination based on somebody's facial features. And the people who benefit from it are people who have features that fit the European beauty standard. So because I am a dark-skinned black woman who has a small nose, and I have pretty small eyes and big lips, and my face is pretty much shaped like a black Barbie, I benefit from featureism. And a lot of men will pursue me because they want to experiment what a dark-skinned girl is like. And they don't normally date dark-skinned girls, but they'll pursue me because I'm the closest to the European beauty standard that they could get to, if that makes sense. So when you get to college, it really depends on whether you benefit from featureism or not. But when you do benefit from featureism, you will start to see it. You may see it in high school, but I started seeing it in college. I didn't even know featureism was a thing. I'm not going to even lie. I didn't know featureism was a thing until I started my platform, and I had got into a relationship, and he had basically 6 months in, he had told me that he doesn't really date dark-skinned girls like that, and he only dated me because I was an experiment, and he didn't want to go after the dark-skinned girls with the big noses and with the 4C hair, so he had to go after the one that looked like the black Barbie. And these are his exact words. And that was the first time that I found out that I benefited from featureism. And I don't already have my platform. So before y'all start talking about the Barbie name, I don't already had the Barbie name already. Like, I don't already had the whole thing. Like, I didn't know featureism was a thing until I literally had the real life experience with it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know it from like online. Like, you know how we learn things from like social media and textbooks? This stuff is not in textbooks. They don't even talk about colorism in textbooks or anything like that. So like colorism and texturism, I experienced that through real life experiences. That's how I know about these terms. And when it came to featureism, I had to learn about it through a real life experience. Like, I literally had to learn about it through a man telling me why he pursued me and why he likes me. And that's how I figured out, like, I benefit from featureism. And it changed my whole view on the world, because before, I used to think that I didn't have to do my homework on men. I thought that that was a job that only white women and light-skinned girls had to do. If I was a white woman or a light-skinned girl and a black man pursued me, I would always ask the questions like, why is he pursuing me? Is he colorist? Is he racist? Does he not like black women? Those are the questions that I would ask myself. Now, obviously, we know a lot of the preferences don't ask themselves these questions, and they get in these relationships with these colorist, texturist, and featurist black men. But, you know, that's what they're supposed to be doing. So as a dark-skinned girl, I'm thinking, you know, I'm a dark-skinned girl. I don't have to ask these questions. I don't have to do my homework the way light-skinned girls and white girls do. But turns out I actually do have to do my homework, because I could have a man who is pursuing me only because he wants to experiment what a dark-skinned girl is like. And he's normally not used to dating dark-skinned girls, but he used me as his experiment because I have features that fit the European beauty standard. And now when I date, that's a question that I ask myself. Before, when a man pursues me, I always have to ask, like, all right, why is he pursuing me? Because before it was, all right, well, if he's pursuing me, obviously he likes dark-skinned girls. Now it's, all right, why is he pursuing me? Does he actually like dark-skinned girls, or is he just pursuing me as an experiment and I'm the perfect toy to use for your experiment because I'm the closest in proximity to European beauty standards? This is a question that I now ask every single time a man pursues me. Every single time. And there are certain questions that you can ask too. Like, okay, so have you ever been with a dark-skinned girl before? Have you ever been with a girl as dark as me before? Don't be afraid to ask those questions. Like, do not be afraid to ask those questions at all. If you are a dark-skinned girl, you should feel very comfortable asking questions like, have you ever been with a black girl before? Have you ever been with a dark-skinned girl before? Ask those questions. Like, don't be scared. Ask. Because they're going to tell you the truth. They're going to tell you the truth. A lot of them are so ignorant that they don't even know why you're asking these questions. So they're not going to lie to you to try to save face or to try to get in your coochie. They're going to tell you the truth. So just tell them, like, straight up, like, yo, am I your first dark-skinned girl? Have you ever been with a dark-skinned girl before? Just straight up. Ask. They'll tell you. And with those little questions, you'll be able to know, like, okay, I'm this man's experiment. Okay, this man actually likes dark-skinned girls. This man doesn't like, you know, dark-skinned girls at all. And this, you'll be able to tell by asking those simple questions. And I want you to feel comfortable asking those questions. So that's my advice to you when you're dating. Ask as many questions as you need to for you to find out if that man is colorist, texturist, or featurist. I even ask questions about hair. I say, do you prefer women with wigs on, or you prefer natural hair? I ask questions like that all the time with men that I met for the first time. Because you got to know. You really got to know. Like, is this man colorist? Is he texturist? Is he featurist? Like, because if you find out later, like 6 months later, and you already like have feelings for this man and everything, it's going to be harder for you to leave. And it's a lot more emotional damage to repair later. Trust me. Okay? Coming from a dark-skinned girl who found out that her man only dated her because she benefited from featureism, I'm telling you right now, finding out 6 months into the relationship is not the move. That is it's a lot harder to repair that trauma. Okay, so you better ask some questions on the first date so you know. So, yeah. One thing I did notice in college is that when you become a confident dark-skinned woman and you finally are loving your skin and you love the skin that you're in and you embrace the skin that you're in, people feel intimidated by you. Ain't nothing like being intimidated by a beautiful, confident, dark-skinned girl. Because let me tell you something. You will upset the right type of people when you are a confident dark-skinned woman. You will definitely shake the room and make a lot of people uncomfortable when you are a confident dark-skinned girl. Trust me, because people are already expecting us to be insecure. And when you finally change that reality for them and you show them that you can be confident in a world that tears you down, it makes them feel uncomfortable. And when you get around colorist, light-skinned women, they will try to compete with you. And when they realize that they cannot compete where they don't compare, they will start to take their anger out on you. They'll start to say backhanded compliments. They'll start to bash dark-skinned women either directly or indirectly. All because they feel intimidated by a confident dark-skinned woman. And when you are a confident dark-skinned woman, the world responds. Which means when you walk into a room and you own the skin that you're in, and you show people that you know the power behind your skin, people respond in a way where they bow down to you like you're a queen. I kid you not. And when the world responds and bows down to you like you're a queen, those colorist light-skinned women cannot handle it. The amount of times I've had a colorist light-skinned girl get mad because when I walked into the room, I had the most attention, or most of the guys were pursuing me and not really paying her much mind. And she felt away because she lives in this colorist world where she believes that she's automatically supposed to get most of the attention. And when she gets around a dark-skinned girl like myself who alters that reality because I'm that bitch, now she feels intimidated and she feels away. Trust me, that will happen to you. So beware of those colorist light-skinned women who cannot stand the fact that you are confident in your skin tone and that you actually get praised for your skin tone. Because there are a lot of colorist light-skinned women who hate the fact that there are dark-skinned women out there who are confident and get praised for being dark-skinned. They hate it. Because it alters their reality. And they have to look deep within and exit that colorist world that they live in. And finally look at themselves. And a lot of the time, most of them realize that the only reason why people called them pretty was because they are living in a colorist world where people will automatically call them pretty because they're light skinned. And then when they get around you, a dark skinned girl who alters that colorist reality that they live in, they start to realize that being light skinned doesn't equal pretty. And being dark skinned doesn't equal ugly. And just because they're a light skinned girl, that doesn't automatically make them better than a dark skinned woman. And that doesn't automatically make them pretty either. And when they come to terms with that reality, oh, they lose their shit. And they start to take it out on you because you reminded them of that reality. You reminded them that light skin doesn't equal pretty and dark skin doesn't equal ugly. So as a confident dark skinned woman, you will shake the room and you will make a lot of people uncomfortable, especially colorist light skinned women. And this can transfer on even after college. Now, I can't really speak on post-college that much, only because I'm currently still in college in my last semester. But what I can say is I have worked jobs that are big girl jobs, you would call them. So jobs that people normally get after high school. So I have worked with people in a corporate setting that are over 30 years old. And what I will say is, even the 50-year-olds be colorist as shit. Honestly. You would think that they're mature. They're not. people who are old enough to be your grandparents are colorists as well. One thing I noticed, when you are a dark-skinned girl in corporate, it's really, really hard to move around. There is a stigma that discrimination cannot take place within the Black community when it comes to the corporate world. So if you go to your boss and you say something like, oh, this Black person was being discriminatory towards me, a lot of the time they will overlook it because they don't even think that's possible. A lot of workplaces don't even think it's possible for Black people to discriminate other Black people. So colorism gets overlooked a lot in the workplace. The Black people let it slide because they don't give a fuck. And the white people let it slide because they don't even think colorism is real. So they can't even grasp what's happening. When people call out racism, it's like a blanket, like you're getting called out type shit. Like the spotlight is on you. You're getting called out. There's so much emphasis behind calling somebody racist. But when it comes to colorism, it's not that same effect. You labeling somebody as racist could literally cost them their whole entire career. You labeling somebody as colorist, ain't nothing gonna happen to them. They can still go to work every single day and do their damn job. It don't matter how many times you go to HR and say that person is colorist. Because when it comes to colorism in the workplace, they overlook it. They overlook it. Like, I've never been in a workplace that takes colorism serious. They don't take it as serious as they take racism. As a Black woman in the workplace, in general, document, keep every single email, put everything in writing, and do not be afraid to stand up for yourself. But if it's kind of like going down the route where if you defend yourself, it's going to be like you're the only person really sticking up for yourself and the issue's not going to get fixed. I hate to say it, but you either going to have to quit jobs or just keep dealing with it. Trust me, we're putting in work right here at the Barbie Life 2.0 podcast to spread awareness about this issue so people understand that this stuff also happens in corporate, and people need to talk about how colorism affects people in corporate America, because it's not talked about enough. So until Barbie 2.0 fixes this issue going on in corporate America at this time, if you do experience colorism in your workplace, I advise you to just quit and find a new job. Because working under white people and experiencing subtle racism is better than working under Black people and dealing with blatant colorism. Trust me. Because when it comes to working under white people, they're not going to be so racist to the point where it's like too obvious. They'll be racist to a certain extent because they know that if they say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing, that can go to HR and be documented and they could get fired or sued. But when it comes to colorism, it's not like that. Somebody could be openly colorist and literally say stuff like, I don't like dark-skinned women. I don't like working with dark-skinned girls. And they could say that in the workplace and nothing is going to happen to them. Nothing. Even if you go to HR, nothing is going to happen. And working under those conditions is not good for your mental health. Because you're just going to get gaslighted and you're just going to keep experiencing colorism without any change or improvement. So you might as well just leave the job. There will always be another job. Ain't no reason for you to stay in a toxic workplace when you don't have to. There will always be another job. Always. Trust me. Trust me. Colorism is never going to go away. Okay? as much as you would want it to go away, as much as you would want to convince yourself that you are not affected by colorism, if you are a dark-skinned woman, you are always going to fall victim to colorism. You may not even see it, but it will directly or indirectly affect your life. So one lesson that I just want to say to all dark-skinned women is, when you are healing from your trauma, or when you are trying to deal with walking around in such a colorist world, don't walk around as if colorism is not there. Because I know so many dark-skinned women try to act like colorism is not there, or they don't experience it. Especially dark-skinned women who benefit from featureism. You know, the ones who look like myself, or Ryan Destiny, or the Black Barbies. They try to act like colorism is not a thing, or they don't really experience it, and it's not going to help you in the long run when you try to be in denial about the issue, okay? Because it's like trying to be in denial about racism in a world that is literally built off of racist principles. Like, that is just, you're not going to make smart decisions. You're not going to make decisions that are in your best interest while you are walking around in a colorist world. So don't act like it doesn't exist. Okay, it exists. You can't run away from it. It is what it is. All right. But anyways, and I feel like at one point, every dark-skinned girl goes through this phase where you step out of feeling insecure about your skin tone and you start realizing that you are a beautiful person and you are a beautiful woman. You just live in a world that doesn't appreciate your beauty. And when you finally come to terms with that, you walk around in this world with a lot more peace and a lot less weight off your shoulders. So when I got to college and I started building up my confidence, I really started to come to terms with the fact that I'm not an ugly person. There's nothing about me that's ugly. There's nothing about my skin tone that's ugly. I just live in a world that's not appreciative of my beautiful ass skin. And I think that a lot of dark-skinned girls should have that mindset and should think that way. Whether you're in high school or college or even after college, you could be 50 years old and I still would want you to think with that mindset. Don't believe that your skin is not pretty based on how the world perceives it or how the world treats us. Understand that you are beautiful and your skin is beautiful. You just live in a world that doesn't appreciate it, but you're not responsible for other people's perception of the world. You're not responsible for what other people will miss out on because they want to be so colorist. So because the world is the way it is, and at this time, we can't really do much to change it. All we can do is spread awareness about the issue. At this time, as a dark-skinned girl, do not live your life hating your skin. Do not live your life putting yourself down because the world is already putting us down. The world is already constantly telling us that we're not worthy enough. So why would you do that to yourself? It's like punching yourself when there's 5 people already punching you. Why would you punch yourself when 5 people are already punching you? At that point, like, why are you trying to harm yourself even more? So I want y'all to really look at your skin like it is literally the most prized possession that you could ever have in your life. Okay? Because your skin is beautiful. Melanin is worth more than gold. Okay? And in this world, in this colorist world, they're going to try to convince you that your skin is not beautiful and that your skin is not worthy. They will try to convince you of that. They don't want you to see your full potential. They don't want you to really see the beauty and power you hold behind your dark skin. Because let me remind you, dark-skinned women, and I'm not saying that light-skinned women are not black by saying this, but dark-skinned women are the blueprint. We are what Africans originally looked like before evolution and all this interracial couples and all that stuff started beginning. The blueprint and what Africans originally looked like was dark-skinned black people. That's what they looked like. The original Africans were not light-skinned. They weren't Zendaya skin color. They were dark-skinned. So you are the blueprint. You are literally God's creation. Like, to the T. Okay? So don't ever feel like your skin is not beautiful enough. And if anybody tries to tell you that your skin isn't beautiful enough, you better tell them that they came from you. And without people like you, they wouldn't exist. Because it's true. Without people like us, the whole world would not exist. White people, Asian people, Hispanic people, light-skinned black people, they all came from the originals. And who are the originals? Africans. And what did Africans look like? They looked like this. This is the original true bred Africans. This is what we looked like. So you are the blueprint. And that is why they don't want you to see your beauty. Because there is a lot of power that comes with being the blueprint. And they don't want you to see that. So please remember that your skin is beautiful. Okay? Your skin is flawless. And your skin is worth more than gold. They just don't want you to see it. So you're going to be in a world where they're not going to appreciate the value behind your skin. But that doesn't mean that it's not there. That doesn't mean the beauty is not there. Just because others cannot see it, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And it's up to you to remind yourself that your skin is beautiful and worthy. Love your skin. Tell yourself it's beautiful. Even if you don't believe it, put up post-it notes in your mirror. Listen to me. Trust me. It's beautiful. And the only reason they went out of their way to develop these European beauty standards is because they don't want you to see the power behind your skin. They don't want dark-skinned people to see how powerful they are and how powerful it is to be the blueprint of what we see today as humanity. Because you are the blueprint for humanity, by the way. You are. And they don't want you to know the power behind that. So please, remember that your skin is beautiful. And you just happen to live in a world that doesn't appreciate it. But that doesn't mean that you're ugly or that your skin isn't beautiful. It doesn't mean any of that at all. In fact, it means the opposite. Okay? But yeah, that's all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. And I hope this video helped some dark-skinned girl out there feel heard and feel seen. And also feel like you're not alone. Okay? I know what it's like to go through colorism in this tragic colorist world. And it is one of the worst feelings to feel very alone or to feel like you're the only one going through that experience. So I hope that I was able to help some dark-skinned girl out there feel like she's not alone and feel very happy to be a dark-skinned woman. I hope I helped someone out there love the skin that they're in and embrace it because you are beautiful. You're not beautiful for a dark-skinned girl. You are a beautiful dark-skinned girl, period. And you deserve to feel good about your skin. And you should feel good about your skin. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I love you guys so much, and I really, really appreciate the support and the just love that you guys have been giving me for the past few weeks. It's really, really amazing, and it's not going unnoticed. Trust me, I love the support, and I love you guys so much. And I also want to point out that my DMs are always open. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, you probably should, but my Instagram is a Barbie Life 2.0, and you guys can DM me whenever you need. anytime that you feel like you need advice from a fellow dark-skinned sister, or you just need to even confide in somebody and rant because you just feel like you're going through so much colorism and it hurts, just DM me, okay? I am always open to listening. I'm always open to hearing you guys and giving advice where I can. So I want to be here for you. I want to be your big sis. I want to be, you know, that person that you guys can come to whenever you need to. So if you ever feel alone and you ever feel insecure about your skin or your mental health is not great, just shoot me a DM and I will answer. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I hope you stay positive. And remember, you are beautiful and that skin is golden, baby. Okay? But I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys very soon. Besos.